Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. My name is Sirigath. Today we will be flying a Plaguefall 17.
So,
Fortified, Bolstering, Quaking, weak.
someone to kill me. You're welcome to
And I'll be
try.
your captain. You're safe with me.
The
That being
hordes
said,
within these halls will make quick work of you.
one thing I should have done better here is use the speed boost, the feather thingy, before I popped in this potion, because I barely made it here. Luckily they figured out that I'm a slow wheelchair class, so they pulled the mini-boss before I arrived there. But in case you for whatever reason want to skip this mini-boss, you are not making it without a speed boost. To be fair, you probably won't make it even with speed boost, not to pull the boss. Maybe, I don't know, it was close. We had like 2 seconds left, right, so it will be pretty close. But yeah, this guy's pretty simple. I really feel like there's not much need to talk about this guy. One thing I want to mention here is that
well fought. Now claim its power as your own.
my add-ons for some reason in this dungeon, and only in this dungeon, have not worked properly. Not sure how much you can see, but there's no Omni CD, so I don't see what CDs my teammates have available, and it's actually a pretty big deal because these were pugs, all of them, and honestly it's been like very weird not knowing what defenses they have and what offensives they have, and like not knowing who to PI and when, because usually I like try to do my best to PI people when they're popping CDs, you know, like, because I know that if I was a DPS player I would love it if my priest PI me during CDs, right, and not like just randomly. So I try my best. I don't know every class obviously, so I can't always do it perfectly, but you know, classes that are good PI candidates I usually kind of know when to PI them. And here we're using like a opportunity with a Quaking to just apply dots. I would do that probably even if it wasn't Quaking, but this is just like extra value. And then just mines here, and as you can see, like pretty decent DPS, 3.2k, what is it? Yeah, 3.2k. For a healer with no major CDs popped there, that's really fucking good. Oh no, I said the F word again. Oh frick. Okay, rip channel. But either way, I actually thought I'm out of range here, and I almost got clapped. That was very dangerous. That thing will one-shot you on hierarchies. Gotta be very aware of that. There's... I don't know, Plaguefall is weird now. It's both hard, but it feels like there's a lot of extra time. I feel like since they changed the thing with the explosives, right, and with the plague borers, with the explosions, and they felt like they needed like to give you extra time or like nerf certain things a little bit too much, and now the dungeon, it doesn't feel too easy. That would be like just incorrect. Like, it's not an easy dungeon, it's just that like, it's not, I don't know, it used to be one of those dungeons that felt like pretty execution heavy, like you had to execute everything properly to have a chance. And you kind of had to be well organized with skips and stuff, and now it just feels like you can just go slowly, little by little, things will work out. I don't know. I like it though, I like it. I used to hate Plaguefall, now I find Plaguefall like one of the most enjoyable dungeons. Okay, maybe most enjoyable is a little bit of an overstatement, but one of the cozier ones. Also, you can see here how I position myself. I'm ready to use both Shining Force and Fear on the Stunning yourselves. It's just something that, you know, you should pay attention to. Get yourself in the position to help while you're casting instant cast or something else. And yeah, I go here, I Fear, and then I position myself here and I do a knockback. I feel like that was pretty well played by me. Wow, what a player. Who is this guy? And yeah, we're a bit
taste of what the plague can do.
And in my opinion, really good timing as well. Like, we killed him pretty fast, and we got here pretty fast, because we're only, what, like 4 minutes into the dungeon at this point? That's pretty impressive. I tried to mass the spell here. I didn't expect it to work, but I wanted to give it a shot. Sadly, it did not work out. Yeah, I also think I had wrong conduits here. So yeah, pretty scuffed the dungeon, like wrong conduits, no add-on. I'm actually surprised it worked out as well as it did, because I don't know about you guys, but when my UI does not work, like even if the thing that doesn't work is not like a big kind of like a lost thing, it still throws me off, man, because it's just weird, right? I'm used to something, and then yeah. So here, unfortunate thing happened. I believe one of these little guys has ran away and pulled extra things. We'll see again. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know things got really scary at some point here. Or they finished transformation, or I don't know. I didn't even see what happened again. I was looking at my mana, and I know at some point I ran out of mana here, and we lost 2 people, and those were like basically, you could argue that's my fault. I should have used the mana potion, and here I had Arcane Torrent. Yeah, I used it. Okay, that's good. And see, like these guys are super mega giga bolstered, so we're really struggling to bring them down. This is the tricky part about bolstering week. It's you gotta be very careful, and we just kind of took them for granted. And, and here I was writing as well. Yikes, writing during gameplay. But yeah, we just probably ran out of kicks there, and I just could not keep up with this. Like, there's no way. There's no way there for me to keep people alive. Even if I had mana, they started taking damage too fast. So maybe my bad. I don't know. I don't think this is necessarily my bad. I just don't think we'd have dealt enough damage in that instance, and we also screwed up by letting them transform into the slimes, and yeah, I just got wrecked. And here I was checking the add-ons, and I saw them all loaded, so I don't really understand why they were like that. And I wasn't really paying attention, but we had no res, so it's my bad. Like, I should have resed first, then looked at the add-ons. Just a little bit of a misplay by me there, but it's fine. We lost maybe like 10 seconds, and I felt like it was important. I didn't want to res them and then just kind of like have them run away while I haven't checked the add-ons, because I didn't know, like maybe, you know, I just disabled one of them by accident, and that would have been an easy fix. But then I saw I didn't, and you know, I decided to not do anything about it at this point. There's no point in doing it at the moment. But that did mean that my PIs were suboptimal, and I couldn't really track my teammates' defensives, which is honestly like a pretty big deal, because I use that information very well usually. Like, if I see somebody with defensive, I'm not gonna prio healing them over somebody who has no defensive and stuff like that. So I like try to play really smart. Obviously, I'm still learning process. I feel like playing WoW is an ever learning process, especially considering that you don't always play the same composition, you don't always play same people, so it's always like getting information and then adjusting on the fly. It's one of the reasons why I love this game so much. And here with the Clutch Tuft, pretty nice. That item is really strong. I'm actually kind of sad that eventually I'll get a trinket that's gonna just have so much better stats than Tuft, because I know I'm a stat whore, so I'm gonna have to equip it, but like the save of Tuft is like nothing can compare to it. Like, it's such a good item, it's crazy. I wish we had like a 9.1 Tuft. But alas, in Sanctuary of Domination there's no Tuft-like trinkets as far as I know. Here we've really done a poor job of interrupting here. I think it's partially because we don't really have that many. Like, we only have 4 interrupts, right? And then we have
Gripping Infection,
AoE stun, we have My Fear, we have Grip, I think it still interrupts. And then we have, well, Mage actually has more interrupts. He should have used more. Like, he has Dragon's Breath, Frost thingy, even something like maybe Polymorph is a little bit too much, right? Also, I'm not sure if you can Polymorph these guys or not, but you know, just like using your CC to interrupt is very important. It's a big part of what makes a good mage and bad mage, like what makes a difference. Played with some amazing mages that deal like 30k damage per pull, and they still can't time keys, especially exactly because they can't interrupt, and then their teammates die. It's very important to interrupt as a DPS player. It's more often than not a bigger, like, there's like a cutoff point, right? Like if you deal so much damage that things die before it kills you, then it's fine to just kill stuff. But there's also certain pulls where you want to CC still while dealing as much damage as you can, because if you don't, even if you're dealing insane amount of damage, people will still die. So like it's just there's just like a cutoff point. It's hard to tell where it is, especially for me as a non-DPS player. Like people have to know that on their own, but I feel like we haven't really done a good job interrupting in this dungeon. Luckily, it didn't really feel like it mattered too much, to be honest, which is probably a sign that this dungeon is a little bit weak at the moment. Or maybe I've just gotten better, which feels weird to say, but could be. I don't know. Either or, I didn't feel like it was that big of a deal that we missed interrupts, whereas in some dungeons I definitely feel like if you miss like 2-3 interrupts, like you're just wiping it. There's no shot. You cannot heal that much, especially as discs. Like we're really limited in terms of healing as discs. As a discipline priest, this is something I would like to say to everybody who might be like starting out as disc or is wondering like why they feel like they've been playing good maybe but haven't been able to time keys or whatever. I feel like as a discipline priest, yeah, see, I'm showing you guys here that I'm in the wrong soulbind. Pretty embarrassing. Yeah, if you play disc and you feel like you're doing everything you can, but your class sucks, it doesn't suck. It's your group that sucks. Of course, assuming you are playing properly, right? Like this class, we did not spec. I mean, it's not a class, it's a spec, right? This priest is a class, disc is a spec. We do not have tools to carry. Like, if you look at my Holy Priest videos, you'll see how some of the groups I've played with have been really bad. Like, really, really bad, and yet it didn't matter, because I just press my heals and everybody's full. Disc is not made like that. Disc is like this, like, min-maxing, super playing on the edge spec where you absolutely need to calculate, especially on difficult pulls, every CD usage, every spell usage, and if you make a wrong decision, somebody will die. You do not have those emergency buttons like Circle of Healing, Prayer of Mending, Sanctifies, Serenities, Divine Hymn. We don't have that.
Gripping
we
infection.
do not. We have Rupture, we have Dome. Besides that, we're just and Pains Up. Besides that, you're just a Shadowman spammer with Penance as a tool, but you should not be using Penance anyway as a healing tool most of the times. Like if you are, that means somebody took more damage than they were supposed to. Obviously there are exceptions to that, right? There's certain mechanics that are unavoidable and that are hard hitting, and then you of course are gonna heal with Penance. Good example of that is on Sanguine Depths on the second boss, right? Where Constigate deals so much damage that you're simply gonna have to plan your CDs. You're gonna have to use your Rupture, you're gonna have to use your Dome, you're gonna have to use your Tooth, you're gonna have to use your Pains Up, and you're gonna have to Shadowman plus Penance the target, otherwise he's gonna die. But that's exactly what I'm getting at. It's like you need to plan these things. It's not as straightforward as, oh, just press heal. No, if you're realizing you need to press your heal when the damage has already went as a disc, you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna have a hard time because this class is not a reaction healer. This class is a prevention healer in a way, and we don't really like to react to things. We would much rather prevent damage from happening in the first place with good play and good positioning, and then we can deal a lot of damage. And there you saw like a Kyrian boon actually saved us because we didn't interrupt the jump and we got crushed, like all 5 of us. Luckily I had that city going on, so I could have kept us alive, and you saw like, what was that, like 10k HPS at one point. But I did it for offensive purposes. We just didn't interrupt, so it ended up being worth it on defensive as well. I basically wanted to get it on CD, hoping to get it back on time for the boss. That was my line of thought. Like I wanted to use it there because I know we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do a mini boss. So I know that in a lot of time that we finish those two, it's gonna be sort of back for the first explosive on the Dr. Rikus fight. You know how this works. This is just like deal as much damage as you can. This is where you need your team, right? This is where you need them to avoid damage, because if they're getting hit here, then you cannot deal damage, and then there's like no real point in playing this. Like the whole point of this spec is I feel like to deal as much damage as you can. That's where we excel at, and with like that passive healing through atonements where we can heal people while dealing that damage. It's like a win-win scenario.
Draws close. Be ready.
This guy is pretty simple, although we can struggle with him a little bit. I would suggest if you are playing with your teammates, get them to use their immunities on the Carnage. So when this happens, just tell him like touch of karma this. And then when it goes on your DK, you can heal one target, but you cannot heal two, your people will die. It gets very scary unless you commit CDs. But I don't want to commit a CD for this when I know I will have a boss fight soon, so yeah. And you guys will see, this boss fight will be messy, like super messy as well, so it's good that I've kept my CDs there.
Claim your power, Maw Walkers.
Of course we get the mana here, mana is like our main power. We get mana, we get haste, we get shield thing, and we get movement speed thing. That's our like set. I think it's pretty standard at this point. I'm pretty sure that every healer takes that.
What this needs is
slime injection, slime injection.
The next procedure will be a real blowout.
Virulent explosion.
And here I waited him to jump,
Burning
and then
strain.
when he did what I talked about earlier, I'm just popping Kyrian
slime lunge.
ascended boon and just go to town on the explosive.
Slime lunge.
Scalping like DPS, like burst it down, because I don't know for whatever reason, but
Burning
people don't
strain.
always DPS that ooze very fast, and it's freaking weird because that's like the only life
Slime
mechanics the
injection.
boss has, so I don't know why they don't do it.
Slime
But sometimes
injection.
like people are just like a little bit reluctant to do it for whatever reason, and I always like to save my CDs for that, just to help out. And here we made the mess. I don't know, like we have paralyze, we have imprison. I think it works, I'm not sure actually.
Slime lunge.
Either way, we get paralyzed, so I don't know, I think what probably happened is somebody hit it and then it broke and he probably couldn't
Virulent
reapply it,
explosion.
so we just kinda
Burning strain.
winged it, we killed
Burning
you.
strain.
Luckily this group had decent damage, like we haven't really had explosive damage at any point.
Slime
Like,
injection.
it's Frost Mage, right, so there's no that arcane whatever it's
Slime
called
injection.
that deals a lot of damage. There's no, you know,
Slime
like
lunge.
your boonies and those things, but our
Slime
overall,
lunge.
their overall was really good. Like overall, they've been pumping
Burning
constantly,
strain.
and I really appreciate DPS that does that. I like when I think it's way better when they're like that
Slime injection.
than when
Slime
they have
injection.
explosive damage and just there's big gaps between those bursting windows, and then everything just feels so inconsistent, right? And sometimes you get stuck on certain mobs that you should not be stuck on for a while. Just overall pretty painful experience. But yeah, that's Dr. Rika's pretty simplified. Everything is pretty regular here.
So
Not
you
really,
emerge
not really
victorious.
much
But
to
at what
discuss.
cost?
It's a very simple fight to heal
What
as well.
vile
There's a
mixtures
few
now
dispels that you can
course
do,
through
and
your veins.
that's about it. You can also pain stop
That
your
is
tank
the
at some point,
plague's
because that boss
true
actually does
power.
have like a hard-hitting tank
It
mechanic. But
lingers.
other than that, it's
Festers.
Yeah,
Bulwark of
Destroys
Maldraxxus.
everything it touches. Even the victor.
Creepy crawlers. Bulwark of Maldraxxus.
this island can be tricky. This was quite challenging. I remember this. So like, you can see I usually like to place dome
Creepy
early here
crawlers.
because later it will get covered with this goo. So later it gets like pretty pointless to have it.
Bulwark of Maldroxus.
And here I was just trying my best, like, to keep tank alive, and I barely got to back up and rupture. I feel like if I didn't, he probably would have died. It's just that these mobs, like, they start hitting so hard with bolstering on. It's very scary, and there's not much room for kiting there, so just get stuff as well. Luckily we made it through into this pack plus the boss, but this boss is pretty, like, this guy doesn't do anything. This guy is a joke.
Run away.
Mr. Sogadon. I hope they don't hear this and, like, buff him, because I know a lot of people have been saying that this guy is, like, super weak. Maybe he gets stronger on higher levels, or maybe the trick is that he like increased his physical damage, so maybe this AoE on higher keys really like shreds people, but on the keys that I've done so far, this guy feels like the freest guy ever. Out of the 4 tormentors, he's probably the
dangers ahead.
Right, so next part of the dungeon, it's very important to note my interrupts on stealthlings. CD usage
Enveloping webbing.
is
Bulwark of Maldroxus.
probably not optimal, but I feel pretty good. Just keeping people alive. These packs is where you can lose your run, because a lot of people underestimate this, or they will start oversaving their CDs for Domina Venom Blade. Great name, by the way. Big fan.
Enveloping webbing.
Rightfully so. It is a tough boss, but on Fortified Week, the real boss is the packs you're doing. It's not bosses. So you gotta respect these packs. You know, you'll see me pretty loosely use my CDs here. You know, drop a Shadow in here, then I'm probably gonna rupture here and then boon. I'm assuming. Let's see.
Enveloping webbing.
I'm assuming I'm
Bulwark
gonna
of
boon. If
Maldroxus.
not, I'm probably gonna boon on the next pull. I decided not to boon here. Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So just attacking here, smiting, penancing,
Stealth
trying to keep
lanes.
people alive. And see here, I didn't apply a torment to tank, so therefore I had to penance him. That's a bit of a misplay. We could have used penance offensively there if we just put one Shadow Man on tank before, but that's okay. It's those little things that sometimes make a difference, but not this time, luckily. Not this time. Stack was also good. Like, he played on the edge quite a bit, as DHs normally do, but I quite like that
Bulwark of Maldroxus.
he
Stealth
knew when to
lanes.
bail, right? He knew, kind of had a good sense of when to play
Enveloping
and when to
webbing.
stay and when not to. One more thing to note here is Dome I put was too
Bulwark of
early in my
Maldroxus.
opinion. So because these guys get bolstered, right? And
Enveloping webbing.
you kind of wanna optimize damage reduction when the damage is at the highest. So the damage is gonna be at the highest when these guys get buffed up. But I placed Dome there just in case while there were more enemies, just so, like, as a prevention measure. Just letting your teammates feel safe and,
Solitary prey.
you know, getting your spells on cooldown as well.
Shadow ambush.
Because if you think about it logically, if you place
Solitary
Dome,
prey.
you reduce damage, and therefore you reduce healing you need to do, and therefore you increase the damage you're able to do. So it's like a pretty big win
Solitary
scenario
prey.
for you.
Solitary prey.
Something to consider.
Cytotoxic slash.
It's all about that DPS increase. That's what we wanna. That's the point we wanna reach. Not really about just keeping people alive. It's about how can we assist
Solitary prey.
as much as we can. Right?
Cytotoxic
That's why we're in the
slash.
support role.
Through
We
the
provide
desert.
whatever is needed. When people need to live, we provide healing. When people are fine,
Solitary
we provide
prey.
damage. That's one of the positives of of this pack. There used to be a pretty big flaw of Resto Shamis, for example, in the previous patch,
Solitary
until
Prey.
they buffed that Earthquake, right, and all the jazz.
Cytotoxic
And here I
Slash.
panicked a bit, so like I feel like that pain sub was completely unnecessary. So like if you paid attention, I paid something, but I toofed him already, so I should have known that when he's toofed, he's gonna get healed back to full. So why am I pain subbing him after that? Like I'm saying this because in this case I don't think it was necessarily a mistake, but there are situations where overusing cities like that can get you killed. So for example, let's assume the boss lived for like 1 more minute on a hierarchy. You can't just use CDs like that. You need to plan them better. You need to get max value out of them. If you're really pushing your limits, you need to get max value. You need to let that tooth proc, you need to let it heal him up, you need to, you know. And here I was already talking about acid rain, focusing on the boss. I forgot we were supposed to go here, and you guys will see this is gonna get quite rough. This is gonna be super tight here. This horrible corridor with the in combination with Quaking was quite something. And see, once again, I don't see their defensives, so I don't know if he has Touch of Karma or whatever else defensives they got. And here things got quite dicey. Dispel one target so I don't have to heal and then keep healing the others. Just super close. Luckily I was able to shadow mend them back to health, but usually when you get in these situations as a disc priest where everybody is ticking down, it's insanely stressful. If you it's just really rough. And I feel like whenever I get into these pools late, which happens very often because I'm a priest, I'm slow, especially when I play with DHs, what happens very often is when I'm falling behind already and the pool has like barely started, it really puts me in an awkward position, because a lot of our healing comes from us applying these dots, right? Like Purge of the Wicked, Purge of the Wicked, Purge of the Wicked. So because we have like running Purge of the Wicked running on multiple targets, that's passive healing for any target we atone. So usually you're able to get a lot of healing by just using Radiance, which is decent kill on its own, but nothing impressive. But it's that atonement it applies, plus that Purge of the Wicked healing that it does, that really ties it all together, and that makes us like effective in AoE heals, because other than that we're not that great. And then here I'm gonna tell them to care boss, because you know I was afraid they can't notice. Sometimes people don't notice when others die, so if we pulled boss we wouldn't be able to res monk, so we would basically have to redo the fight probably, or just go with 4 people, which to be honest wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. This boss does not really have a DPS check, but you know, why do that when you don't have to? And also this tank was an absolute madman for tanking that guy that was like bolstered to oblivion. Say here we got a res, and that's when they will res, as you can see, so they probably didn't even notice, which is kind of crazy to me.
Rise, servants of
Not sure which. Oh yeah, we had DK to combat res, I forgot. Yeah, he's probably DK that combat res him. I didn't mean we have to res like that though. We could have also just, I mean at this point it's probably worth it to do that combat res, but I feel like we could have just disengaged a little bit and let me res him normally, but this is totally fine. And then we go for Margrave Stradama. Cool name, cool name. No idea what it means, but it sounds cool. Sounds like somebody who spits infectious rain onto you. All my homies hate Margrave Stradama. It's a hell of a fight for a healer, but luckily we had a lot of defensives in this group. This is an immortal group. Like you have Mage with high survivability, you have DK with high survivability, and you have Monk, which is, it's not the most insane survivable class, but they have that touch of karma, and they have Vivify to kind of help out as well. This boss is all about living, it's not about damage, because most of the time you don't even like... You can skip one rain by having a lot of damage, to be fair though, which is kind of cool, but other than that there is no real point in rushing this boss on non-tyrannical weeks. Tyrannical weeks are different. Tyrannical weeks are different. But obviously they did help, like you guys will see how quickly we'll delete him from this phase. So like the rain won't even get max stacks. Look at this. And I placed Dome because I expected rain and then just like basically wasted barrier fully. That's such a waste. It hurts seeing it there, do nothing. My baby bear, you're doing nothing. But yeah, it's fine. It's my bad. It's my bad. I should have seen that the boss phased. I was too focused on the frames, to be honest. Something I've been working on more and more lately, that I'm getting much better at it, to be honest, but still not where I want to be, is that sometimes my awareness of the fights really drops because I'm watching at frames a little bit too much. Which is fine, right? I'm a healer, like that's kind of my job. But still, I wish I was, you know, able to still like look at the game a little bit more. And here I'm just fully focusing on damage because I noticed, wait, we can actually +2 this. Wow, I thought this is not possible, but it was. Either way, I want to say thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you wanna tell me anything, feel free to leave comments. You know, like, subscribe, comment, whatever you feel like doing. I appreciate you guys being here either way and watching the video. Any sort of feedback is appreciated, as I am still learning how to do this YouTube thing and trying to get better at it. And I hope to see you guys again. Much love, guys. Peace. Have a great day.